arts,
Hmm.
which means that it goes to nowhere and you're just chatting with each other,
That's
which is
cool
fine.
too, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, Sam, what are your expectations of us for tonight?
You have a good time.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
that's the whole beast. No more at all.
What's the time container that we are inside of?
Yeah.
There sure isn't one, but I could make one up if you want.
I'm down to hang out for like an hour and chill. I
Yeah.
don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Same here.
I think an hour, and if you bleed over, if you wrap up a little early, I think that it's totally appropriate. The real honestly, it's from Button's standpoint, like the goals are to get to have like a more human interaction for some of the audience and the fan base. Will usually, pull up concurrently 100 to maybe even a few hundred people across the platforms, and most of them are only hanging out for 5 to 10 minutes. But you'll often find a handful of people that chill for the whole thing. They just like kind of think it's a cool way to be engaged, and so you guys being human and offering a different side of the art form and a little bit more, I don't need to say personable or intimate necessarily because you don't got to be those things, but just uh, accessible, because poetry can feel really inaccessible to people. So that's kind of the
Hmm.
biggest goal for us. And then on the side, sometimes we get good video. It's a way that we can get video from across the world that we couldn't get otherwise,
Hmm.
and it can make for cool clips that can be cool promotion. But even just having another version of the poem can be, or any version of the poem can be really transformative. So um, I'm gonna I'm gonna throw the switches and start turning this thing on. Is that cool? Get out of here.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I've also got a couple, I don't know if you have like any pre-prepared questions, but I have some pre-prepared questions for you too.
I put some questions together too. Look at us
Oh,
being prepared. Look
Yeah,
look
look
at
at
it.
you guys. That's amazing. I love that. All right, I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm gonna start streaming it everywhere.
Okay.
Sweet. I hope he didn't say that we're gonna be on Twitch, but I can only assume we're gonna be on Twitch because, it's like video game. It's kind of like gaming, We're on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. W's in the chat. W's in the chat. That's what they say on. That's what they. Let me get the menorahs in the chat for the poetry stream.
The menorah emoji.
Give me some menorahs in the chat. Yes, indeed. Uh, are we live? I can't tell. I think we are.
I am checking my Instagram. We are live.
Oh, dang, it's happening. Okay, cool. Um, I feel like this is like your evening. It's like your evening to shine. It's your book to support and love on a little bit.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
um, yeah, do you want to first just be like, who uh who are you? What
Yeah.
is this book? What's the deal? Yeah.
Yeah. So my name is Adrienne Novy. I'm an author and a librarian in training. Um, and I'm currently promoting my chapbook, Good Luck in the Real World. Um, so Good Luck in the Real World kind of orbits around two different narratives. My near suicide attempt that happened in 2023, where I was partially hospitalized for that, and then the following year, my mom had a stroke. So it's a lot about pop culture. It's a lot about navigating a food service industry, and also like navigating those two griefs that like grieving those two deaths that like never happened yet, haven't happened yet. So
Word.
yeah,
You're like, yeah, it's about, like trauma and like really scary things that happened and also like food service because
yeah,
but that is also like that's where the book starts is food service and pop culture,
mhm,
I guess you could say. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Do you want to read a poem?
Open it up with the poem, the opening poem.
Why not?
Yeah. So this poem I wrote for Starbucks workers who are currently still striking. It's called I Talked to Julian Baker About Death While Washing Dishes, and My Arms Are Deep in Sanitizer. In back of house, my suicidal ideation hisses into the sink. A customer shares a name with my dead friend, and my grief is a steel cartridge. Tiny pressurized violence. A woman calls me stupid, and all I do to earn her praise is pour her Americano from one cup into another. My brain runs on two-thirds spite so it stays strong. Enough. It also screams the same things the old lady called me, so that means it must be true. We have to keep the bathroom doors pinned open when we close. A barista's body was found under the sink one morning, a few districts over. I dig coffee grounds from under my nails, gritty little God particles. It's not just that I wanted to die while clocked in, but I am saying that at my old job, I drafted a suicide note on receipt paper on one of the slow days. I serve coffee to EMTs at 4:30 a.m. and wonder if they'll be the ones to find me. You haven't truly worked in food service if you haven't joked with your coworkers about setting the building on fire, which is something none of us would truly ever do because this job, this vulture of joy, is helping us pay for therapy and cat food and the human right to have teeth. We know it's okay. We've all been there, viewing death as a laughable currency. I do have a nightmare, though, about the fire, beams collapsing around the entrances, Hungry and Clementine. My hands are trembling and keep slipping on the safe dial. If I don't start moving faster, I will be trapped inside. Someone is yelling for me to let it go. It will never love you back. The safe refuses to open. I've spent years not wanting to be alive, but please, please don't make me go like this. I'll be damned if I become more kindling and cannot save our tips from burning.
Oof.
Thank you.
Dude, thank you. Oh my God. I love it. And what that's such an amazing poem to start the book off with also.
Oh, thank you so much. It actually started out in a zine, and the poem is for further back, but I decided to bring it up to the front to really kind of kick the door down and really set the tone for the rest of the book.
Yeah, definitely. It has a lot of energy and it brings in a lot of those threads that you were talking about, like all in one place, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah,
Cool.
your turn.
I could read a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me see real quickly. Hi, I'm Zach. If you're watching and you don't know who I am, I'm Zach Goldberg. My book from Button is called I'd Rather Be Oh shit, this fucking blurry shit. I'd Rather Be Destroyed. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Adrienne's holding up also. But this came out about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and is very much about Judaism and mental illness and addiction and just like family trauma, essentially. And I definitely feel like me and you have very similar, um, just a lot of connection points. You know, there's a lot
Hmm.
of connection points.
Hmm.
Um, so I think I'm gonna read. I don't know. Is there anything that you wanted me to read? You can also
Uh,
say no if you don't want to like.
I was thinking about Lael Shimarim,
Yeah, totally.
but if there's
Cool,
a
cool.
poem that like jumps out at you, you're like, I want to read this one after this conversation that we just had, or like after the poem that you just read, feel free to do that too.
No, you're good. This is great. Yeah, so this poem is called Leil Shimurim. It's in the book. Leil Shimurim is a Hebrew term for what is it, like night of like guarded night or like night of yeah, it's like it's the first two nights of Passover.
Hmm.
And this is sort of like a poem about the first two nights of Passover in my family. My father used to fall asleep on the couch before the Seder ended. He was probably tired of hearing the same long story we told every year. What makes this night different from all other nights? Miracle night, joyous night, night of vigils, night of cups. We leave the door open and wait for revelation. Elijah slipping silent through the portal to drink his fill. I've seen my father pour the prophet's glass, but I've never seen it emptied. Yet somehow it's always gone by the end of the night. Did I miss the arrival, the announcement? We wait and we wait. Red glass of wine, red drop of blood. When we beckon Elijah to the table, we are asking for the promise of a savior, the Moshiach, the rapture disappearing in a glass. While we celebrate, our fingers stain red from the work. Red night, Guarded night, vicious night of corpses, our rejoicing shakes the world. But my father always knew this night was closely watched, so he learned to relax. He fell asleep on the couch, and we wondered at the missing glass of wine. Where did it go if not to the heavens? The door was open, but no one saw the visitor step through it. In retrospect, we all knew, but no one dared to question. There's only one man who understood that a glass of wine is an invitation to vanish in itself. We should have expected it. My father. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's
Thank you.
brilliant. Um, and I think one of the things that I love about um your poems is that you're kind of an archaeologist in your work, in regards to self-excavation.
Hmm.
Um, and how do you approach being so vulnerable in your work?
It's very practiced, very practiced faux vulnerability of a poet.
Hmm.
No, I do think there's a part of it is that like coming up in spoken word and coming up in
Hmm.
poetry slam, there is very much a like you are in some senses rewarded for being vulnerable or at least giving the appearance of vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
you're rewarded for talking about your trauma openly on stage because people are like, oh, damn, this is so real and raw, and like we're gonna give you props and give you scores for it. Um, and so I think that's part of it. Um, yeah, I mean it's nice of you to say that because I don't perceive a lot of this stuff as being vulnerable. Like
Hmm.
it in some senses it just feels like I'm airing out like family laundry, and I'm like, oh yeah, and that to me is different. But
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Because a lot of your stuff is very like you're talking about really intense and traumatic situations.
I mean, I think, it didn't really feel, for what I went through, didn't really feel traumatic, in regards to my um near suicide attempt. My therapists were like, we're gonna use that fancy corporate health insurance of yours and get you help. Because I literally felt like um thoughts about death Barbie for like a week.
Oh
And
my
I'm like,
God.
this isn't, something's not right here. Um, but my mom's stroke was a different story.
Mm,
Because I have a line in one of my poems. It's like, I wanted to die, but I don't want my mom to die.
right.
And like, because she almost did die
Mm,
in that situation. Um, and so I think writing about that was healing in a way. Um, it let me process it because my second book of Rev Gildenna, however, is way more vulnerable, feels way more vulnerable to me than Good Luck in the Real World does. Because Good Luck in the Real World feels it's rooted in honesty.
mm.
And Rev Gildenna does too, but the thing with that book feels like I am having a nightmare where I'm just wearing my underwear walking into math class,
Yeah.
as opposed to, talking about mental health, which is something that I've always been an advocate for and
Yeah.
always very passionate about. Um, that feels like a lot less, if that makes any sense.
No, it feels like like practiced, not in a like you're not putting it on, but like you've just done it. You've done it a lot, and it's a thing that you think about a lot and talk about a lot that makes it genuine and sincere, which is what
Yeah.
definitely comes across in the poems also, you know.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Is there one you want to read that's like, well, I don't know. I guess I don't know what direction to take that. Like I feel like some of the ones with your that feature your mom are kind of nice, you know,
Mhm.
and like can be a little like comforting. I don't know if that's what you want to go with or if you had something else in mind.
Um, let's do. I actually have a poem with language borrowed from you. Let's do that.
Well,
I can't remember if it was borrowed from you or from Sam Sachs, but I think it was borrowed from you.
well, it's okay because I borrow a lot of language from Sam Sachs, so it's all really the same.
Hi, Sam Sachs. We're big fans.
Hi, Sam Sachs.
Um, this is called Unexcessive Crying.
Mm.
When Moses parted the Red Sea, he forgot about the salt that crushed the eyes. From my mother's side, I inherited depression and diaspora. Losing my grandfather's ruby ring was its own grief. What was passed down to me, another. My eyes are irritated tourmalines, pearls string along my neurons. A headache wraps like a crown of knuckles. I knock against my heart with a fist. No one answers.
Yes. That's wild, dude. And I'm very honored. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, what's your like, did you write some of this stuff as you were going through these experiences, or did you have to like process it separately and then write it after the fact?
Um, I wrote, I wrote the Julian Baker one, the first one poem that I read tonight when I was like really in it. I was actually in a workshop with Shira Ehrlichman when I wrote that poem. And I was also like really kind of struggling. And I was also under a lot of stress because Starbucks was just not a good fit for me.
Yeah.
And it took a toll on my mental and physical health. Just navigating my own self-worth in a food service industry, which already takes so much from you. Um, so um, I guess I wrote some poems when I was in it, and I wrote the poem, um, gosh, what is it? Um, I think I wrote one of the poems about my mom when she was still in the hospital.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that was more healing to write about her in that moment. And when I'm going through mental health stuff, it's not healthy for me to write about it when I'm in it.
Yeah.
It's really not healthy. Um, and
I
I
feel like
think,
that path can lead to just like cycling in like a really bad feedback loop. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think that goes to the vulnerability in slam because that's what kind of slam did to me a little bit in regards to just taking it past my breaking point in sometimes. Um, but
Yeah.
now, um, I think it's just like, okay, I need to take a step back before I can really excavate this um, story that I want to tell.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a thing that we talk about in slam is just like poetry can be very therapeutic, but poetry is not therapy, you know? Like, so get a therapist. If you can manage it, get a therapist.
Please get a therapist.
Yes.
Um,
Ooh, also shout out to Shira Ehrlichman. I know, obviously, all of these people, all of our poetic heroes are watching our live stream right
oh,
now.
oh yeah,
So,
totally. They
so
totally
shout
are.
out because Shira, that Odes to Lithium, that book is fire.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Odes to Lithium. What were so speaking of Odes to Lithium, I love to wonder what were some books that you read during the process of writing I'd Rather Be Destroyed, if you can
Um,
remember, of course.
Oh my God, so many books. In terms of like some of the content, like we were talking about, like some of the Sam Sax's work, like Madness is amazing.
Oh,
Um, that's really good. We were just talking about George Abraham before the live stream started. George Abraham's book on Button, it's called Birthright. If y'all haven't read it, that book will blow your mind. That book is amazing. So please go read that.
mhm.
And because George does such like wild new form stuff that I like spent a whole bunch of time just being like, what are they doing? Like, oh my God, it's so cool. Um, yeah, I mean, I also got to shout out the homie Ollie Schminky. Like, they have two books on Button, but they all have also gotten into some really exciting and very cool form stuff, but they just also have such an amazing way of like taking really difficult traumatic stuff and like making it not like lightening it or like making a joke out of it, but like their first book is called Dead Dad Jokes. Like it's about their father. And so
Mhm.
like being, dead, but it's also like there's joy and there's like happiness and there's humor in it, which I think I really try to do as well.
Oh, I think that Ollie is just absolutely hilarious when it comes to writing about death.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just absolutely, and it's in the most like honorable way. It's not like about death it's not funny in a disrespectful way. It's funny in a very respectful, very touching
Yes.
way.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay. Let's read a poem.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'm gonna read a new poem. Sorry, this is not in the book, but I've been kind of wanting to read this.
Yeah.
Because it also feels very related to your book. So I felt like, um, I need to share my screen, guys, because it's wild out here. All right, can you see this crazy poem?
Oh, is it like almost like it's almost like a contrapuntal?
It's almost, but it's like a reverse contrapuntal. Um, so anyways, yeah. This poem's called SSRI, and it's about being medicated. Don't we love it? Um, and it's his new shit. So, as the homies say, recent feces, straight out the ass. Let's go. All right. SSRI. Each morning you rise to complete the happiness ritual. Place a morsel of potential joy on your tongue to swallow, many milligrams stoned to glut you with excess riot. The doctors say you're bad at sharing, especially with yourself. See, most folks' pleasure will pass right over the aperture without a thought. But you're stingy with your serotonin. It won't cross rifts in the brain, won't leap from one neuron to the next. You never learned to reel it in, to lasso ripe desire and lug it from one side of the synapse to the other. Instead, it floats between two useless origins. And yes, you feel a kinship to the chemical, adrift in empty space. You clamor for its blessed ricochet. You, the high priest and prime heretic of its lonely religion. Depression is an illness derived from a failure to communicate. Electric signals sent but not received. Instead, you bear witness, sit ringside at the slow death of your own want. You learn that even sorrow has its place, and you miss its richness, its thick landscape. Worried by the watching, you fear a life in which you are resigned to half-ass love. Ride the bench while all your friends who aren't really friends are satisfied. You pray to a small jewel that will dissolve right off your tongue. The science isn't even solid, but the pill shows promise. You hope to harness what drifts already in the void, to flood the gap between cells, between you and yourself. You may yet live to see your loss thawed, river once frozen, now shimmering with sunfish, distraction by way of plenitude. This cure is nothing but obsession, striations in the brain bursting alive, swollen by a miracle no one understands. What strange brand of narcissism to trick your body into lust or longing, to gift yourself what you already own. You had previously assumed the story's false, that anyone could be relied upon. Your community of chemicals, your found family of small radiant ingots, sumptuous ripcords you yearn to pull. Now the list of words that saved your life grows longer each day. Some are small, bliss riddles never answered, glass rifles never fired. Some of them can fit in the palm of your hand, in the abyss ribboning through your gray matter. The only way to know for sure is wait. They say, in time, happiness ripples forth from each forsaken crevice. Until then, just have to hope the dosage holds. Hope you guess right when you tell them the odds of survival.
Wow. Wow. That was incredible. Um,
Thanks,
I
dude.
love the small jewel, the sunfish.
Mm,
Um, oh gosh, what else? Like the rippling through the gray matter, that just the imagery in that is so palpable.
thank
Um,
you.
I love that. What brought forth that poem, if you don't mind me asking?
No, you're fine. I feel like I've kind of been working on it for a while. And I just got at some point I got really interested in the like I was like trying to find words that had SSRI in them, and I couldn't find any because I don't think there are any words that like SSRI is like a contiguous phoneme in them. So
Hmm.
I just started like cutting up weird things that like have SS followed immediately by RI, and then it just like sort of became this long because like yeah cascading poem thing. um but yeah, shout out to medication if that's your thing.
Hmm.
We're shouting out Sam Sachs anti-ehrlichman and medication and therapy. um yeah. uh cool. I mean, is there anything that you feel like I have poems that I would love to hear you read, but yeah, is there anything that comes from that for you?
Oh, that definitely there's definitely comes forward. So it's a poem called in my book called Serenity. And I'm gonna show it. This is what it looks like in the book. And I'm gonna read it from a Google Doc, so I don't have to go like this.
That would be fun to watch, but
I
yes.
mean, I don't know if my eyes could track that well to do that. Um, this is Serenity. My most prized possession costs $2 on the internet. Cheap metal and plastic, a sacred currency. From the time my brain was sick, cornea of gold. Don't meteorologists say that the eye of the hurricane is the calmest? I keep a cyclops doubloon in my pocket. It is the precious exchange of hands, passed around the circle at the hospital before making its way back to me. An extra sweet squeeze for good luck. My psychiatrist asks how the Abilify is working. I didn't know this this is what it feels like to be normal. I feel so much better. It's like something inside of me flipped.
Hmm. How did how did the form for that come? Like, how did you decide to write it in the circle?
I knew I wanted to write it into a circle poem. So I knew I wanted it to be like a dedication to like the my Serenity coin that I got from when I graduated treatment. Um, and so I kind of knew that I wanted it to be in that form already. So like, and I don't have the editing software to do that. So I asked my dear friend Catherine Weiss, um, if they would format it for me, or like, hey, do you know how to do this? What do? And they were very kind and helped me out with it. So
Shout out Catherine Weiss, another button poet, right?
no,
Or
they were a
oh,
finalist.
sorry, my bad.
They are
I
a
take
Game
it
Over
back.
Books poet. They are
Yeah,
a
they were
Game
a Game
Over
Over
Books
book
poet.
poet,
Yeah.
but still an amazing poet.
So
Yeah.
incredible. So
Yep.
incredible.
Um, that's amazing. What's I feel like a thing that you do really well is you have these poems about pretty heavy subjects, but
Mhm.
they don't feel like they're weighed down by that. Like there was I think it was like a Buddy Wakefield workshop that I went to one time where he was like, you always need every poem needs an escape route. Like
Mhm.
you can't just have it be like you're stuck in here with this like terrible feeling all the time. So like
Mhm.
how do you do that? How do you make your poems that are yeah, ostensibly about these like scary big things not feel so scary and big?
Um, Pop culture is definitely my way in. And I think you knew that I was going to say that. Um, but pop culture definitely helps me write about heavy topics, like especially Julian Baker, the artist Julian Baker has really been an influence. Her work, she has a line in one of her songs is, I wish I could write songs about anything other than death. So she talks about death pretty openly and pretty frequently, and talks about very heavy subjects. And so songs are kind of like my way into it. Like when I'm writing a poem, a lot of times I'll like rock my head back and forth. I'll listen to music, the same song over and over and over again to
Mm,
try to think about what line or image sticks out to me the most that I can latch on to use in a poem. And it makes writing about heavy subjects feel a lot less heavy.
yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, I'm writing about this thing, but I'm also writing about Harry Styles. Or I'm writing about this thing, but I'm also writing about an artist that I really love, and whose work I'm passionate about. So it feels like as if there's definitely still that undercurrent, but it definitely doesn't feel, if that makes any sense.
No, it totally does. It makes it accessible and it makes it not feel as myopic in some ways. Like it's not you're not just like, woe is me. I mean, people are allowed to do that, that's fine. But like if you
Hmm.
want to make a poem accessible, I think that's like a big part of it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, and well, a shout out. We know obviously Julian Baker also watching this live stream right now. Shout out Julian Baker. But if anybody is watching, you should also go and follow Adrienne's other side projects because she has these Instagram pages that are Boy Genius as books or Harry Styles as books, and it's taking book covers and matching them to looks from these artists, and it's really fun. So go
Uh,
with
Taylor
that.
Swift as books.
Oh, okay, you have Taylor
That
Swift
is
books.
that is Taylor Swift's books. That is the original Brainchild.
Okay.
And then I was like, and then I think they made a post about how like they were really stressed out and burnt out. And I'm like, I know what I can do despite having a million things I already have to do. And it's
Yeah.
this. This
It
is
just
my
like it
calling.
brings a smile every time I see one of the posts. I'm just like, damn, that you're so right. That is that. Yeah.
It's such shenanigans. I love it so much. But also I think my work would not be what it is without Hanif Abdurraqib.
Oh hell yeah.
I would not be the writer that I am without his work.
And if we're
Um,
talking about like writing about music, he's also like the dude, you know? Yeah.
he's a titan
Yeah.
in writing about music and writing about artists in regards to artists, writing about other artists.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you want to read one of your poems that feature Julian Baker or like anything that like features some like Boy Genius or any of the yeah.
yeah. Do you want a more lighthearted one?
I don't care. It's your, you know, it's your show, dude.
Um, my show, it's our show. Because I have two poems back to back.
Hmm.
I do you want Julian Baker and I visit my mom in the ICU or once again Boy Genius?
Honestly, probably the first one.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Julian Baker and I visit my mom in the ICU. I brought my mom your beanie, the yellow one with your name on it. I hope you don't mind. She's been complaining her head is cold without her hair, but she keeps an ice pack behind her neck to ease the pain. I think she might like a tune woven atop her staples. It's sweeter to have a song on her head than the beeping monitors. Pressure metronome, fresh flowers wilting in the trash. The only time we recognize the song over the cafeteria speakers is Elvis singing Blue Christmas. I am trapped in the velvet of time here. A friend reminds me, thank God this wasn't happening last year when you were partially hospitalized. You might not have had the therapy skills to handle this. I've wanted to die, but I do not want my mom to die. I love you. I love you. I'm where I need to be.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. That poem is so beautiful and just like I don't know, it's sad, but it's like not it's nice, like it's comforting, it's warm, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The last line of the poem, I love you, I'm where I need to be, is what my mom said to me when I went to go visit her at the hospital. That was one of the things that she said to me. And she's like, I'm where I need to be right now. So
Yeah. Or
yeah.
um I feel like that's another point of connection is that we both have experiences with parents going through terrible medical trauma. So that's
hmm
fun. That's a good time.
Oh, it's so much fun. Oh my goodness. Would you like to read a poem?
Maybe I'll read. I don't have as much about that specific thing in here, but I can read a poem that kind of features it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so I'm gonna read this poem is called, it's another kind of weird formy poem. It's called Punnett Square for the Ways I Die. Um,
Oh, yes, this
yeah.
poem.
And if you're watching, it's oh God, my fucking blur doesn't want to
I
actually show
got
it to
you.
me. Oh,
I got,
thank you. Yeah. Boom. It looks like that. It's a Punnett square. If you remember Punnett squares from biology, whenever you took biology, it's just like it shows inherited traits essentially of an individual based on their parents. So across the top it says father, and on the side it says mother, and then each, you know, dominant and recessive versus dominant and recessive. So um Punnett square for the ways I die. Father dominant, mother dominant. I entered the world through a red gate pried open by pure chance. In this case, a Monday in spring. In this case, both parents on their knees working the strip of earth by the front walkway they like to call a garden, caging blueberries to defend them from the birds. Each metal wire as sharp as a whistle, as sharp as blood. When two jazz musicians fall in love, it's called a ballad. When they laugh, it's called a standard. When they have a son, it's called a dirge. My parents are still in love. That is their most impressive trait. Father recessive, mother dominant. I'm the only 12-year-old on the ellipticals at the JCC. Mom has to stop and have a full conversation with every adult we run into. I don't have the patience to be a child, and I'm too selfish to be a parent. The afternoon Dad's flight lands is the last time I don't know his blood type. Room of 1,000 hands, Mom's frantic yelling at the woman at the intake counter, Dad's absolute and mortal guilt. I was raised here but didn't know it until years later. From the hospital bed, I see death but cannot gauge its distance. Father dominant, mother recessive. Here, a country of probability. Here, an alternate universe where I am no longer afraid. If I had arrived here, I would still be sick, just a different kind. Golden light through the window, and I sneeze in flocks of starlings. Mom touts the cobalt of my irises. Dad lets me try a sip of whiskey. Here, I don't look like what I am, what's hidden in the shadow of every joke. This is how I learned to hate crowds and crave attention at the same time. I can't fall back asleep after 7 a.m. I don't smoke, but I'll take a cigarette if you've got it. Father recessive, mother recessive. I sang the songs. I ate the meals. I opened every door. I walked through every possibility. They say the gene for hair loss is maternal, but based on everything I've seen, heredity is just a myth. My parents live each day with the knowledge of their own weaknesses passed down to me. When I inherit something from them, they do not in turn relinquish it. They give me a thing they still own, a cutting of their grief. I have to believe that more than one thing can be true at the same time. It's the only way I get out of here alive.
Wow.
Thank
What what made you decide to write a poem in the form of a Punnett square?
Honestly, if we keep taking it back to Sam Sachs, I was taking a class with Sam Sachs, and one of the workshops was like write a poem in like a the form of some like external document or like some external thing.
Hmm.
And so people were writing all sorts of like random like yeah like legal documents like all that sort of stuff, and I was like, oh, this will be interesting. I'll try like a Punnett square. Yeah. So it was a good time. Um, yeah.
It's so clever. Um, so one of the things that you mentioned in the first poem of the book is that you're an Aries.
Mm,
And I'm a Sagittarius, so we're both fire signs.
respect. Love it.
Um, what lights the fire under you these days, and what brings you light?
Oof, God. Um, well, I don't know if you've been, following the news, but I live in Minneapolis, if you're unclear, and Minneapolis has been the site of some pretty terrible shit. I mean, ICE murdered two people.
Hmm.
ICE has been taking away, kidnapping neighbors.
Hmm.
Um, and we're hoping that things are going to start to calm doom, but that's been a lot of what's taken up my time in general over the past couple of
Hmm.
months, which is both just like, oh god, it's just like so much doom scrolling and like doing hella just like researching and thinking I need to know everything, and then like going out to the street and like going to events and like fundraising. Like it just feels like that's been the only thing on my mind and on like just about everybody I know here. That's like the only
Hmm.
been the only thing on their mind for
Right.
the past couple months. And that has also been a really like exciting source of fuel for poetry.
Hmm.
I've gone to and like been able to read at a few different events that are like fundraisers or just like community like gatherings that are just like let's all be together and just like share some poems, and they've been very emotional and they've been very nice and warming. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I don't know. That's some hard shit, but that's
No,
really what it
yeah,
is. The
it's
exciting
an
shit that's going on in my life right now. What about you?
um. I guess what, and kind of echoing a lot of what you're saying. Um, I'm in the Chicagoland area.
Mhm.
Um, but I've been following. I used to live in the Twin Cities, so I've been following what's been going on. Um, I would say that it's both hard to focus on my homework right now with the state of the world, and also I'm studying to be a librarian, and I feel like that's a very impactful um, community resource. Um,
Hell
and
yeah.
that I'm studying to be. So I think that it also feels like I'm like helping, try to help. I'm like trying to help the world become a better place by becoming a librarian. Um, so
I think definitely librarians are the shit. Yeah.
they really
How
are.
much longer do you have in that process?
I still have about a year.
Yeah.
I still got quite a ways to go, but it'll come up quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um, okay, wait. I have a request of a poem for you to read. Because
Okay,
this is one
okay.
of the poems that like when I was reading your book, I was like, oh, this is hilarious. It feels like tonally a little different than other poems in the book, but in like a great and fun and refreshing way. Local man ruins everything.
Ah! Um, okay. Local man ruins everything. Me unmedicated is like Florida on a good day. Three stand-up comics in a trench coat. A deer with knives for hands. Making the tattoo artist laugh means I must be winning at life or at therapy. I don't think there are open mics in heaven. My brain is just a regular brain, except there's an alligator in it, and it's holding up the drive-through to Wendy's. A nightmare about a teeth is called a laughter.
Hmm.
It's far more scared of you.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Thank you.
Uh, Thank you. There's just like so much about this poem I love. I mean, like it just feels like it rolls so constantly, and I'm like, we're not gonna let up, are we? Everything keeps getting wider. And then I feel like the ending just like leaves you on like a what? It's so great. What
Yeah.
yeah, tell me about writing the poem or the poem, yeah.
So there was a comedian that I'm not going to name for a number of reasons,
Mm.
but he has a bit about there's an article in the newspaper about a man in Florida who stole an alligator and then used the alligator to hold up a drive-through to Wendy's. And it was just absolutely bananas. And then you can look up this article, it's very real. Um and uh I just thought about like I think like the alligator from the alligator's perspective. It's like I did not sign up for this.
You're like, what am I here for? What is this? Yeah.
Exactly. And so like wondering if the alligator is probably more terrified than anything, which is why it probably became defensive
Mm.
in the first place. And also I think it's the most Florida thing to try to rob a Wendy's with an alligator.
But I mean, but also just like the meta using that as like a metaphor for like your brain or a brain of being like, yeah, I am terrified, and sometimes that causes me to do bad like things that I would not otherwise do, and like that I need to then apologize, like that sort of stuff. And I just think
Hmm.
that works so well.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
And it's titled after the song by the Wonder Years. Um, if you're
More,
familiar with that band.
yeah, more
Uh,
music.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
What how does this project, like this chapbook, feel different from your previous? Because I know you have two other previous collections,
I
right?
do, yeah. I think this feels different. I really don't know. I feel like every project feels like an extension of me in some capacity. Like
Hmm.
Crowdsurfing with God that dealt with a lot of, about childhood and about disability, and that's a part of me. I read Gildena that dealt with a lot of like Jewishness and sexuality and queerness, and that's a part of me. Um, and I mean, like queerness and Jewishness comes up in this collection too, but I feel like mental health is like it just feels like another extension of myself.
Yeah. So they each feel sort of like, and they're each very focused on
Yeah.
maybe like specific like areas, but they
Hmm.
definitely feel like they're related, obviously.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of queerness, I was wondering if you might want to read the Robin's Egg poem. I
Yes.
love that poem. That poem is like so sweet. Yeah.
Thank you. That poem really scared me to write, both for myself and in regards to my aunt. I don't know, asking myself, is this a story that I should be telling?
Yeah, totally.
Um, but it's called Robin's Egg Blue. There's a cracked open robin's egg on the sidewalk, which means either a deep loss or miracle happened here. I don't know about reincarnation, but I love me a good loophole. Daisy chains, friendship bracelets, crowns strung from blueberries. My aunt was the first queer person in my family I knew. She would buy Girl Scout cookies from me, from Illinois to New York. Over the phone, her girlfriend teased how she was Cookie Monster. She held out kisses and squeezes in every call as long as possible. Love surpassed the landline and grew in a furry cobalt garden. Every Hanukkah, we'd open the gifts she mailed to us outside because they reeked of cigarettes, our nostrils stinging from the cold and scent of smoke. During her breakup that spring, my aunt called my mother and, heartbroken as ever, threatened to throw a rock through her ex-girlfriend's window. This was when I was told that queerness was inheritable. My own sexuality was still hibernating, and what luck I felt to be a fawn and not a dove. Lori Robin, I am so sorry. I do not blame you for my becoming now. I am in harmony with myself. The flowers are in full bloom, and I am watering the grass to release the worms from the soil so the family of robins in our bush out front can have breakfast. Another one followed me from tree to tree while I took a walk around the circle. You give me the sky if you could. I am blue with grieving.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, the poem is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I love like something that I think about that I thought about when I read this, like, is being the like older queer person in a young person's life. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Um, because when I was a kid, I also had like queer adults around, which was pretty, in retrospect feels I'm like, oh my God, not a lot of people get to have that.
Hmm.
But when I was a kid, I was just like, yeah, that's who they are. That's like, yeah, that's what it is. And then
Yeah.
thinking about like my niece and my nephew, like who I can be to them and like what sort of world I can show to them is really,
Oh,
yeah,
I love that. And
yeah.
I think there was a lot of shame
Mm,
about queerness, growing up that like I felt like I remember thinking to myself, well, thank goodness my parents don't have to deal my, you know, parents don't have to deal with this because they're, children are both straight.
mhm.
And which um for me that was plot twist there. Um
Surprise. Yeah.
um and I think it was also there was a lot of talk about mental health with my aunt growing up as well because she had very debilitating depression,
Yeah.
and inherited it from my mom's side of the family. My grandfather had bipolar disorder.
Mm.
So like it was like for me, very sadly, very easy to like conflate the two with queerness being associated with mental illness
Yeah.
just because of that relationship, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that is a societal like narrative that we are fed, which,
Hmm.
is fucked up, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I think like what this poem does is sort of turn that narrative back on itself, and
Mhm.
it has a nice arc to it. Yeah.
Yeah. My Aunt Lori was my favorite person in the world as a kid. Like,
Exactly.
and like I never really got to see her in person because she lives in Buffalo, and living in like the Chicago area, not being able to see her very often. But like I remember like after I would talk on the phone with her, like almost being in tears, being like, I miss my Aunt Lori already. And it's just like wanting like loving that connection so much. And
Yeah.
then missing it after she's gone and like wishing that I could have like had so many different conversations with her.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to like, are there any other like poems that you were like burning to read from your collection? I mean, like I was gonna like the last poem is amazing and it's like
Thank
such
you.
a like fucking moment and it's so that is like a poem that I think would be really cool to read to hear, but
Yeah.
also just like whatever you're into.
Yeah. So the last poem in the book?
Sure.
Yeah. Um, so this one I actually wrote when I graduated partial hospitalization, and I gave it as a gift to my friends, the mom, because it was on my graduation day, and I gave it as like a goodbye gift to everyone in the room. There was like also like an unspoken rule to bring like donuts to everyone, and then on the day that you graduated, so I brought donuts and I brought a poem.
Nice.
Um, this is called If You Know, Then You Know. I place my phone in its cubby and smile at the receptionist as she hands me a clipboard where I rate my ideation and appetite from 0 to 10. I hover a curved palm over the door handle and wait for the click as she buzzes me in. Does this mean that while I'm away, my tweets are coming from a birdhouse, each character broadcasting with a worm in its beak? Really, it's more like a Chicago pigeon flapping away with half a sandwich. Three of us clutch stuffed animals, a cow, a lamb, a panda. Soft comfort circle. I asked my friend who's being discharged to sign my journal after this. I'll never see her again. And she does. And of course she laughs because it's like signing a yearbook where every day is Halloween and we're graduating from the class of I feel, I understand, and the school of not dying. I like to think our inner children know each other's last names. We all wish her good luck in the real world. And a therapist presents her a medallion. That we will be me in a few weeks, I whisper. The part of me that wants to live, both happy to be here and sad to see me go. It fits into my pocket like a wish, an angel looking out for me, shaped like a song, crushed into a coin.
Mm. I get chills
Yeah,
from that. Like it's just like such
thank
a
you.
yeah, because it is like I don't know, it's the ending and it's the ending, that just like makes a lot of sense. It works. And it's also if nobody who's watching are hundreds of viewers, if no one caught it, that's also where the title of the book comes from, which is
Yeah,
very cool.
thank
Um,
you.
and it was also funny because like I feel like when I read poetry books, I'm often like, where is the title? Like, what is the title of the book saying? And like, where is that in the book? What is it saying?
Hmm.
And I was like on the last poem when I was reading this, and I was like, I haven't gotten the title yet. I don't know what's happening. And right before it, I was like, The School of Not Dying, that's a cool title, also, just saying. But then the next line is like the actual title of the book, and I was like, oh my God, it's right here.
So that's like a
Um,
phrase that like the therapist and like everybody would say to each other when you graduated was like good luck in the real world because the real world is so different than like what's kind of like incubated inside the like the hospital setting. Um, and like everybody is kind to each other and everybody like knows how to like navigate their emotions in healthy ways. Or like now does know how to do that. So it's like good luck in the real world is kind of like that like phrase that's tossed around.
yeah. And like what I think is really cool about it is like you I mean like when you were just talking about it before you read it, you were like it's about the experience of you leaving, right?
Hmm.
But also in the poem itself, that phrase is used towards somebody else,
Yeah,
right? Towards like another
yeah.
person. And similarly, I feel like the title of your collection, like when I hold Good Luck in the Real World, which I guess I don't have a physical copy, so someone get me one of those, please. But like, but it feels like you, the author, speaking to me, the reader, being like, "Hey, bud, good luck in the real world. Like I figured it out. You can figure it out, you know?"
And I wonder if readers, especially readers of poetry, will catch on the references to other poets um, through that piece because the if you know then you know is after it's after calling a wolf inpatient by Kaveh Akbar, therapy by Edgar Kunz, and To Where Did Your Body Go by Anis Mojgani.
Hmm.
But especially calling a wolf inpatient, especially the crushed coin line, um, especially which is pulled from Me Without Eve's um song. The line goes, a penny crushed on the train track, a train question, penny on the train track, a train question to one.
Mm. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
So
Yeah, with the Ines Mojgani poster behind you also.
Yeah.
But, but also, yes, Kaveh Akbar, another one of those people who just like, after I read Calling a Wolf a Wolf, and I was just like, yeah.
I initially did not get the book, and then I saw him perform it live, and I'm like, I get it now. I
Yeah,
get this now. It was just so impactful to see him and to meet him, and to like fully understand his work, um, after like having that experience of seeing him live.
yeah,
So
nice. I don't know, dude. I mean, yeah, is there anything else you want, like, all of our adoring fans to know about the book or about like you and poetry and shit?
I wish that like there was a way to for us to like field questions that come through the internet on like social media.
Yeah, be like, hey, yeah, if anyone is watching us, we are not on whatever, wherever this is streaming. We're on a Zoom call somewhere. Um,
Um, yeah, but I let me pull up some of the questions that I had for you. So one of my favorite poems by you is um the Drink series or the Ode to Blacking Out. And I love sharing that poem with students too. Um, both in the funny thing because they think, oh my gosh, it's a poem about blacking out, it's a poem about drinking, ha ha ha. But it's so much more and so much heavier than that. Um, Walk me through the process of creating an erasure poem of your own poem for that poem specific for that's in that series of poems. What challenges did you face, and what did erasure reveal to you in regards to relationships to alcohol and to memory?
yeah. I mean, like, I wrote that poem in a bar, like, because it's because like the when I lived in the Bay Area, Berkeley Slam was in a bar, and I would just
Yeah.
like furiously write poems before Slam every week. And so this was one of the ones that I was like writing. Um, and when did I write it? I don't know. I mean, there was a time there in like 2018, 2019 when I was just getting really interested in these different weird forms you could do and perform them, right? Because I think
Mm.
there was a lot of like talk around like, oh, like you would never perform a sestina at a poetry slam, like you would never perform, like all this sort of stuff. And
Uh,
a lot of the energy with there and like with the poets that I was hanging out with was like, why the fuck not? Like we could do that. Like let's do that. So we would all try to write the weirdest forms we could write. And that is sort of how this started.
mhm.
Um, and there's a few similar type poems floating around there, but being able to like do an erasure of your own work multiple times just felt like a really interesting challenge. However, cheat code is that like you can also think about like what do I want the end to be, or like what do I, like how is this end? I think how I did it was I like had an idea for what I wanted the end to be, and I had an idea for like what I wanted somewhere in the middle to look like, and then you
Mhm.
can sort of like finesse the language for it to make sense together. So it wasn't like I didn't just like write the first one and then I was like, oh, this would be a great blackout poem. I'll do that. That would have been very cool. And I wish that I was smart enough to have done that. But instead it felt a little bit like I was like, no. But yeah, I mean, the big part of that poem is like coming to the realization, or like, and this is again something I talk about with my therapist and like my loved ones all the time, is that like drinking is a choice you have to make. And
Mhm.
I am not sober. I want to be like very clear about that. Like I am not sober, but I do
Mhm.
have addictive tendencies, like for sure. And something that I work on constantly, and something that this poem I think arrives at, is very much like, okay, like if you're gonna, treat yourself well, you have to be discerning about like what are you looking for in this moment? Like what are you trying to accomplish? If you're like feeling a desire to drink right now, what is
Mhm.
that coming from, and what is that supposed to get you to, you know
Ooh.
because I think for a lot of addicts, myself included, like you don't really think about that. You're just like, drinky make feel good, so me drink, and then it's like, okay, me feel good, why not more drink make feel better, right? And so you just keep going. And so just like coming to the conclusion that like, oh no, I can choose that, like, you know what, tonight I'm gonna have a good time and I'll be the designated driver and I'll like be the dude that's helping people out, and like that's good. And that is like how we take care of ourselves and how we take care of the people we love.
Hmm. Exactly. I think I've got a poem in response to that from the book,
Oh yeah?
uh, that might be, um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
called That's Okay. And if you want to share a poem, please do. It's called Road to Recovery. My days are 9 to 3 and scheduled. Group time in the morning, mindfulness and yoga, art therapy. Today, I've been asked to draw my recovery as a road. I am learning where my trauma lives in my body. I don't drink, smoke, or engage in risky sex, but I was pulled into the pit of wanting to die. I'm felt tip and crayon in this domain, filling in my own sunrise. There is an apartment complex behind a cracking lake. Shame blisters with poppies past the skull and crossbones. Hills and valleys begin to blush with cactus flowers. I outline a U-turn sign just before the canyon.
Hmm. Nice. Yeah, that's
So,
great.
thank you.
What's like, are there times when you write something and you decide like this is for me and I'm not going to share it with anybody?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's all the time. Um, but also I love attention. So, I
That's
also
why
love
we're
to share
poets.
my
That's why
work.
we're both slam poets in the come up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I think there have been times where I've written poems. I mean, like I've shared to like a handful of friends, but then I'm like, this is just for me,
Yeah.
or like it's not going to go into a collection for a number of reasons. Have you felt that same way about your work as well? Or not really?
No, I think similarly. I mean, I have stuff that I write that I either don't share at all or share with a couple of people. But
Hmm.
I mean, like I agree in the sense that I'm like on some level, neither of us would be publishing books if we didn't have some like a little need for attention, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's hey, that's healthy. That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's perfectly fine.
yeah, totally. Mm-mm. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Anything else? I want to give you like all of your flowers because this book is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and it's just like so smart and so it is funny, even though it was like dealing with some again like traumatic stuff, but it feels
Hmm.
like it's real, and it's something that I think people will be able to connect to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
I
hope
hope
you feel
that
good.
I hope people like it. I hope that Boy Genius fans get a kick out of it too.
We will
Um,
get it to Boy Genius somehow. We will get them this book.
I actually reached out to Julian Baker to blurb my book.
Yeah.
And well, I had Button reach out to Julian Baker's team. And I think Julian Baker may have gotten a concussion,
Oh
so
no.
reading things was probably off the table. So, which is a bummer in multiple aspects. Um,
Yeah.
so,
Well, we will not hold that against them.
oh
Uh,
no,
yeah, but yeah.
yeah.
So if you're watching, buy the book. It's on buttonpoetry.com. Good luck in the real world.
And you can also buy I'd Rather Be Destroyed
You could buy
in
both of them at
addition
the
to
same
that.
time.
Yeah,
What's your release date? What's your actual pub date? Yeah.
April 7th.
Let's go. The book's also in Aries, and we love that? Uh,
Um, so I have a question for you. This is also kind of random, but also I think a lot of our work obviously has to do with Judaism
yeah.
and Jewishness and
Yeah.
identity. So what if at all has Judaism taught you about poems? And do you view the process of writing as spiritual?
Yo, that's a great question. I think that like one thing that Judaism has taught me about, I don't know if that's like about poems or what, but like a few things. One, the power of just like sound and voice, because if you have ever attended, a synagogue service, especially, contemporary synagogues, like I came up in a conservative synagogue, which is a sect of
Mhm.
Judaism, right? And most of the service is in biblical Hebrew, and very few people A, speak biblical Hebrew, and especially in North Carolina, right? Like I did not. So the point I'm saying is that like 95% of the time in synagogue, I did not understand what was being said in
Hmm.
synagogue. But what I did know was that the sounds were amazing and the music was amazing and the harmonies and like the melodies were amazing. And I think that just like instills a love of like musicality and sound and like that sort of poetry is a big part of
Hmm.
it. Um, and then also, I don't know, dude, like Judaism at its core is very much just like a bunch of people arguing about the meaning of a book, right? And so it just feels very like we're reading and we're like dissecting and we're disagreeing and we're like having all these opinions and like that sort of thing.
Hmm.
And that feels very real to how I write and how I think about the world and how I engage with the world. Yeah, what about you?
So I grew up, my mom is reform, so my were reform.
Mm.
But my dad was, well, my dad is Roman Catholic.
Oh,
My
dang,
mom
yeah.
is Jewish. So like growing up with like both of those cultures and both religions in the household, and like not my parents being kind of loosey goosey in regards to um religion in the house. And so it was really confusing because I'd ask myself, well, what am I supposed to believe in?
Mm.
And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, that
Figure it
doesn't
out.
um but Jewishness I think is something that I've really navigated with or really vibed with. Um and just feeling very connected with it in my spirit. I'm not a very religious or spiritual person, but I think poetry is really the way that in which I navigate the world. And also in the novel that I'm writing, Jewishness is something that's really important to it. Um, and having a character who's also navigating her own Judaism and like growing up not knowing a lot about my culture either and learning about it more as an adult, um, is something that's also been pretty big in my life too.
I think that's
And not,
important.
yeah,
Like, I think that's huge because at least my understanding was always like, oh yeah, you like are assigned a religion as a child, and then that's your religion. But it's like, no, you can do what you want, and that's cool. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I remember my sister going, "You're gonna be Jewish like mom, and I'm gonna be Roman Catholic like dad." And I'm like, okay.
Wait, that's actually
Um,
hilarious. Is that how it ended up?
that's how it ended up. And then it would be really funny because when Lent would roll around, my sister would give up ice cream, and then I would be like, "Ha ha." I'd be like scooping ice cream, and I'd be like, "Ha ha, sucks to be you." And then when Passover would come, and I couldn't have bread or pasta, she'd be like, haha, sucks to be you.
Okay, but Passover is only like a week long, and Lent is like a month. So,
Exactly.
but yes, that's hilarious.
Um, do you have another poem you want to share with us?
Um, Actually, I'll share the last poem from my book, which is also about sort of Passover and just like family and like
Mhm.
yeah. This poem is called Next Year in Jerusalem, which is a thing you say at the Passover Seder, basically.
Mhm.
When we sing the prayer after the meal, we use the melody I learned in childhood. That way, I won't get lost in the dead language, the wrong legends, old keys to a new map. Where is Jerusalem today, and where will it be next year? If I cannot hold my mother's hand tonight, then am I part of the diaspora? If I cannot welcome my father into my home, then do I live in exile? Home is where the hurt stops, where the army halts. Unweaponed, edgeless as my grandmother's many scripted tongue. We've never been, but we're always on our way. Only the road that once led there is a border now, a wall, a window I look through to see the nation of your faces. So wherever we raise a glass of wine across a table, that is where I'm from, where I'm going. There will be enough Jerusalem there in the late summer mint. Jerusalem, a door I unlock with the key you hid in the hollow stone, holy city of my mother's laugh as it Jerusalem's the dining room, home, the place you leave to find, the place you leave blood to avoid bloodshed. Next year we'll be together there. I promise. There's no place like it.
That is such a killer end poem too.
Thanks.
I love that. Um, and so tell me about what you're writing now.
I mean, as I mentioned, I'm writing a lot about what's been happening in Minneapolis. That's like
Mhm.
been taking a lot of my mental energy. Um, and I haven't really otherwise like focused on a specific theme. I mean, like I'm trying to write, more about just like community care. And
Mhm.
again, that's a lot of what I'm seeing. And so I'm trying to both participate in and observe and write about what that
Mhm.
has been like, and what it means to both receive care and to give care,
Mhm.
um, in that way. Yeah. What about you?
Um, I haven't really been writing a ton of poetry, um, or working on my novel just been I'm just so busy with school.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my time is dedicated to reading articles and writing discussion posts. Um, but the novel that I'm working on, has really had me delving into Jewish culture, especially the Golem of Prague
Yeah.
and that story. And like learning about where that story comes from, like how do you create a golem? Like how does one do that? And it's like, okay, if it's not my rabbit, well, what about a 13-year-old that has no idea what she's doing?
Mhm.
Um, and so just kind of navigating that. Um, but yeah, I'd like to. I mean, it's a novel in verse as well.
Oh, sick. Yeah, yeah.
So
That feels very, I mean, that's poetry. I don't
yeah,
know. The line is
the
blurry.
line is wib. It's very wibbly. It's very
Yeah,
wibbly.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you want to read one last poem? Is there anything you're feeling drawn to?
There's one that is there anyone that you wanted me to read
You
before
read all the
we
ones I wanted you to read, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Um I think this one is a fun one to close out on. It's called Once Again Boy Genius. I keep my nicest Converse clean for nights out with the not boys. Like real adults, we order orange cream soda and blueberry mocktails at the bar. Watch Jimmy Neutron before bed. Since it's RJ's birthday, the owner is blasting ska through the speakers. This one has a photo booth that uses real film, RJ exclaims as we pile clown car style into Wilma, their blue Honda Civic. Diana, the tallest of us, is the one sprawled across our laps. I jokingly ask if I support her head like a baby as she scrunches herself below the window to avoid the cops. I love the silver bromide of us. My heart is a pull-out couch and pancakes in the morning.
Hmm. That's just so warm. It feels so just like, hell yeah. I want to hang out. I want to hang out with these people. I want to be in this poem, you know?
It was for RJ's birthday, and it was just absolute shenanigans in the most wholesome way possible. I think we watched Jimmy Neutron, and I think at one point we watched segments of the Barbie movies. Not
Oh,
like the
like the
Barb
animated. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and just to show what absolute grown-ups we are. Um, so
Of course.
yeah. Being an
Um,
adult's a trap. It's a
ugh,
trap.
God, I wish I didn't have to do it. Oh God. Yeah, but I don't know. This feels like, yeah, your book is full of these like warm moments and this joy in the midst of these other just like super real and super traumatic but important, and yeah, it feels really nice. And just
Thank
like thank
you.
you so much for sharing all your work.
And thank you for sharing your work too. Oh my goodness.
It's been
Yeah.
nice. It feels like we just got to hang out for like a little while and then maybe people
Yeah.
are watching us, but shout out to all of our adoring fans, Julian Baker, Sam Sachs, Kaveh Akbar, Stuart Ehrlichman, all the therapists watching, medications,
Hanif Abdurraqib.
Hanif if you're watching, George Abraham. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, keep me updated on how everything goes, and I hope you enjoy AWP. It sounds like it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, I'm excited and also really nervous at the same time too, because I've never been, and it's been a while since I've like, because I'll be masking the entire time
Yeah.
as well, obviously. So like, just like traveling during like a pandemic.
Yeah.
So, and just this yikes of that.
Yeah.
So
If anybody watching is near Baltimore, AWP is happening. There's be a bunch of writers coming to Baltimore. When is it? It's like the beginning of March.
it's March 4th through the 8th.
Yeah.
Um,
And Adrienne
so
will be there
I'll be
reading.
there. I'll be signing at the Button booth on Friday from 11 to 1. And then I'll be part of the Button Poetry Live, which will be at Baltimore Unity Hall. Tickets for that are $15 on the Eventbrite and $20 at the door. Um, it'll be a really fun time. There's a lot of big names on that list.
Fire
Um,
lineup.
it's a very fire lineup.
Yeah.
So
Sweet. Well, it's been a
sweet.
blast.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. Talk soon.
Talk soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.